Flosstube. It's Chrissy, finally a farm girl. It is Sunday, May 15th, and this is Flosstube episode 45. I missed a week last Sunday, and that was Mother's Day. So in case you did not see my post wishing everyone a happy Mother's Day, I certainly hope that you had a blessed day and were able to do some stitching and family time and just enjoy your day, no matter what it involved. Oh boy, I certainly missed you last week, but I'm not going to deny that it felt really good to just have a day to take off with my husband, Randy, and Philip. It's strange when Mother's Day comes around and you have adult kids who, one, have their own Mother's Day. My oldest daughter, is a mom herself, as well as my other daughters were working. So, you make the best of it no matter what it is, and sometimes it just all seems to come together. So, I had a good day, and we can talk a little more about that later. To my new subscribers, which there are some, I am glad to have you here. I hope that you will join me again and that you will like and subscribe. I am almost at 7,000 subscribers, and when I hit 7,000, I am going to have another big giveaway. I received a nice box from Fat Quarter Shop, and it is filled with fun things. And I think that it would be best if I held on to those because I'm almost at 6,800. So if I hold on to some of these goodies, I would like to do what I did the last time and just have one winner just receive a beautiful gift box filled with stitching goodies. I think that worked out really great last time. So, anyways, if you are new to my channel as well, this is my channel about cross stitch, and everybody knows that occasionally I will throw in a little tidbit of this and that, and it can be a different craft, and sometimes it's just can be a craft that my mom or my grandma or someone else in the family had done that is maybe vintage or antique in nature. And I am a huge antique lover, and I am a huge history lover. So anyways, and to those that have been following me on my journey for a while, I am always glad to be sitting here with you. It did feel kind of strange last Sunday to just not sit down and be with you. And it's crazy. I watched Lovin' Stitchin' this weekend. I truly enjoy, or maybe I think it was it was this weekend. I truly enjoy her videos, and she has come such a long way. She's just a kick to watch. So her YouTube channel is called Lovins, Lovins Stitchin', and I had got a kick out of watching her husband make a guest appearance. They're really cute together. I love the things she stitches. So if you haven't given her a follow, I've mentioned her before, but I watched several Flosstubes, but I'm going to go through what I've been doing, and I'm going to say that it seems like there's not very much, but it felt jam-packed to me. The first thing that I did not get to share was May 7th at Brick City Cross Stitch, and I'm sure if you've watched some of the other Flosstubers that were there, you've already seen some pictures and things of that sort from the Stitching with the Flossies that Jean of Brick City Cross Stitch and Linda hosted. They had put together a fun event in Ocala, and they basically picked up 5 Flosstubers, I believe. I believe one did not come. It was so busy. For the Flosstubers, it was fun because what we did was Jean, the owner of the shop, Brick City Cross Stitch, she rang a bell, and about every 40 minutes, the Flosstubers would rotate tables. So the first thing I did was just went to that on Saturday, and the other Flosstubers that I got to meet myself, which was fun. We didn't have enough time together. That retreat was not about that, but I think we might need one of those. But I met Jessica of Sweetwater Stitcher. She's definitely one to give a follow. I also met Erin. Now I've met Erin before at a stitch-in at a different retreat. However, we didn't get an opportunity to do much talking, and we still didn't. But I'm getting to know Erin a little better, and her Flosstube name is Perpetual.projects. So give her a look. And I've watched her for a little while now, and she has, her and Jessica have some younger children. So it's really fun to see the younger generation come into play here. I certainly feel a little older when I'm around them, but at the same time, it's fun to see these, beautiful, youthful stitchers that are really taking to the craft of cross stitch and sharing it with that generation. So it makes me really proud of them. There was also Carolyn from Carolyn Stitches, and give her a look. She does some beautiful work. She brought some beautiful pieces. We all got to bring pieces to share that we had finished so that some of the guests could take a peek and be inspired. And Melissa from Neely's Needle. Now, her and I actually have met several times where she will be with us at StitchCon. She is, one of those Floridians that I've met through Stitchy Linda, and I think we've been together now on a couple of retreats or stitch-ins, and anyways, she has a Flosstube as well. Give her a look, and she is a fantastic finisher. Along with I think both Erin and Jessica are all really good. I think that is a trend that I see with the younger stitchers. They are even loving stitching. Again, young mother. And they seem to be very brave in their finishing. And I think that's great. And they should be commended for that, because I still struggle. I know Linda is definitely, she'll always tell you, I'm really not a finisher. She don't want to finish it. There are many pieces I don't want to finish it. I've done some framing myself, but I love that they take on these wonderful finishing techniques, and they're fun to see. They do a really good job. Okay, so, and the last one that I saw was Stacy Stitches Creative Studio. She has an Etsy shop or a web shop. If not, I can link it below. But I didn't get much of a chance to talk to her, but at least I did get to meet her in person. So that was the Saturday before Mother's Day, and I got to say that kind of felt like my Mother's Day, and it was. I think it was over at 3 o'clock. Now you could go back to the shop and you could do some purchasing. And I know a lot of people did that, but because I had left hubby, who graciously, cares for Philip when I'm gone, I wanted to get a car back home because he did not have a car here. My dad lives locally and his car's here, and I feel very safe, but it was time for me to get home to the boys. Okay, then there was Mother's Day, and it was just a very, I guess it was a peaceful day. We went out and about after I did take some flowers to my mom. She is buried at my dad's church in a garden, and it's really quite peaceful there. So I did go and spend a little time there in prayer and in conversation with my mom. And I will say that I always kind of keep it honest. I've shared on Instagram, but I feel like this was a little bit of a harder Mother's Day versus the first one. And then my husband reminded me last year at this time, exactly 1 year ago, we were moving into this house. So I may have been busier, and that may have helped, if there's a help with some of that. But we left, and after that we got some lunch, and we went to the Market of Marion in Marion County, Florida. Have not been there in years, and we just wandered. We had lunch. I shared a couple of pictures of Philip, and it wasn't until we left that I was, of course, hunting down antiques or pieces of furniture to redo, because I do love doing some DIY painting and things of that sort. And by the time we left, I finally saw where like the furniture barn area was. So I'll know for next time. But that's what we did on Mother's Day. And then my daughter came down from Gainesville, and she and her boyfriend brought me some Mother's Day treats. She works at Bath and Body Works, and she knows my favorites. So that was a treat. And then on Monday, my oldest daughter Heather and my grandkids Aria and Matthew came over to bring me their treats, and I got a great mug that I shared a picture of that talks about basically I'm still hot. They just come in the form of hot flashes, which if anybody in their 50s, you can relate. It's the strangest thing ever. So anyways, and then I had dinner with my dad. I do that every Wednesday. And I've been, if you are new here, I will just pop in real quick and say that my son is 21 years old. He'll be 22 in June. And he has a neurological disorder as well as a seizure disorder. And so I have been a special needs mom for almost 22 years now. And it's been going to StitchCon is so exciting, but it also has a huge backside to it, and that means this will be the first time I've been away literally from kids' house and special needs, in forever. I kind of have that weighing on my mind the closer we get to StitchCon, and yet I'm so very thankful that Stitchy Linda is going to be she's going to be my partner in this, and we are really getting so excited. Really excited, and we're getting really organized, but it's just kind of one of those things that I've been going to my dad's earlier than later, and my husband has been putting Philip to sleep, so we have him getting used to that when I'm at StitchCon. So if special needs has never been something that you've been exposed to or in your life, they get very, very accustomed to things that are the same, routine. And so me putting him to bed every single night and being part of that, I needed to make sure that we could transition to make that easier for them and for him mostly when I'm gone. And so that just popped up in my mind when I was talking about dinner with my dad. But we did not watch a movie this week. We just played it very easy, had a very exciting week, and he moved into his new house a while back. But one of the biggest things he was waiting for was he knew this home would need new flooring throughout. And so that happened this week, and it was so great to see the home come to completion, because he has painted the entire house and just done many, many things, and it's really come together, and I'm so happy for him. And the house just looks beautiful. So I hope one day that I'll of course ask for permission, but I hope one day I can share with you some before and after pictures. So anyways, let's see. Wednesday with Dad, had a great time, and I think I'm done with what I've been up to, besides lots of stitching in between when I could. Okay, who did I watch? This week, I usually try to share with you who I watched, and I have been working on my finishing skills, so I watched Vanna, the Twisted Stitcher, who I watch anyways, but I went back to some of her tutorials, and they are great, and they are free, and she is generous, and she is a blessing to the stitching community. So I literally stitched and listened. I'm a visual learner, so that really helps me, is to actually watch her, and I can just watch it almost repetitively until I've heard it enough, and I will give some new things, some new finishing things a shot. So I watched Vanna. She recommended a couple of new floss tubes, and I love that. So I'm going to share that with you because I did go watch. His name is James, the PH Stitcher. Now, Vanna has gotten a little more into possibly like a more full coverage type stitching, and also her fancy lady, some Mirabilias. She went through some of her favorites on her most recent floss tube, and that is what James does. He does some others, but he does some beautiful full coverage. He does some live stitching, which I love. So I did go back to his very first couple floss tubes, which is what Vanna was saying that she watched. It's really cute. There's a couple of very comical parts. Definitely, you know, I can relate, James, because doing floss tube and staring at yourself on a tablet is not the easiest thing to do, and yet after a few of them you almost don't realize that that's what you're doing. So if you can, maybe just, you know, go give James a follow, subscribe, and check him out, especially if you are a fancy lady stitcher. He's got some beautiful pieces and some full coverage pieces and some Hades and Heaven and Earth designs. And I need to do some catch up, but I did really enjoy what I saw. And I really always enjoy someone who starts Flosstube and how they evolve. I also watched the Nightly Stitcher. I really enjoy her. This probably was her 4th or 5th Flosstube. And I watched Chris the Camping Stitcher. I enjoy both of those. The Camping Stitcher is on her Flosstube number 3. Her name is Chris, and we stitch a lot of, we have very similar taste in stitching. The Nightly Stitcher actually filmed from her camper, and that was just great. I had a good time seeing everything. She had went to a retreat, so look her up and you can see where she was for her retreat. And let's see. I'm gonna start with a little bit of what the tutorial that I watched for Vanna. If you watched my last one, I had shared that I was almost finished or had completed the Bluebird sampler by Willow Hill Samplings, and that I had my mom's and she had done one section of it. So I went ahead and I had decided on, with everybody's ideas, to make a pin cushion. But I was not as pleased with my finishing techniques, even though it's fine, and I'm not going to change it. But I felt like there was a way that I could learn to get my points a little better. Oops, almost dropped my glasses in here. So I have this propped up in a really cute case, and I'm absolutely very happy with it. But I did learn that I can finish a square shape or horizontal, you know, rectangle shapes better than something like this. And what I found was a tutorial that Vanna did on a star Teresa Kogut Christmas ornament, and she had some really good techniques. So even though I'm very pleased, and I did embroider her initials on, I believe I probably would have preferred cross-stitching them, but I wanted them to be big enough. So I'm gonna get some nicer pins, some more decorative pins, because that's all this will be for. And I will show you now my finished piece. No, yes, hold on. I have 3 FFOs to share with you. So I'm just gonna have to skip forward because they're all stacked on top of each other. I got to go pick up all my pieces from Hobby Lobby, and I will share with you the first one, which is the Antique Sampler, Margaret Alice Parker, 1861. And if you're new, this is my first antique sampler that I purchased and that I went ahead and charted and sorry, I keep saying but there we go, trying to get the whole frame in. This is the first sampler that I have reproduced as Finally a Farm Girl, and it is in my Etsy shop. Now I will tell you, it was, you could not take it off of there was nothing for him to work with. It was attached to a piece of very small wood, so it has museum glass. It has been protected, and I'm very thankful to have it finished and will go on my wall, but I wanted to share it with you first. So that is Margaret, and it's so fun to see everybody stitching on her. She's a very special sampler. Now, if I can balance both, I chose the same frame, knowing that I would put them side by side. But this is, that's not going to work so well, but one second here. Okay, this is the reproduced Margaret Alice Parker, and I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. I love that red, and I love how it all shows up, and yet it's still subtle. The message is still, to me, the most, important part, but I really had a good time. I didn't choose a really huge frame, but I thought it just supported it just enough. The detail is out here, so it does, it does give it that nice effect, but up here is just nice and plain so you can focus on the stitching and the message. So I know that the stay-at-home quilter is stitching on this. I know Susan Stanley is stitching on this, and oh, I watched Susan Stanley's Flosstube too. Hers are always so good. I watched Becca of Sambry Stitches. I'm disappointed that she won't be at StitchCon. It was going to be a chance for us to meet in person, but I know that she's got some really fun things coming up. So that's exciting as well. But I will miss her at StitchCon. It definitely would have been fun to get together. So, anyways. Let's see if I can get you in a little closer. So now I just get to figure out where I'm going to hang them. And I know I've got to hang them side by side. But anyways. And let's see. So if you're on Instagram, love it. Susan Stanley, the stay-at-home quilter, Sweet Chaos Stitcher. I was trying to get sweet, and I keep thinking of Jessica at the same time. So Sweet Chaos Stitcher, my friend Jen, she is also stitching it. That's her first sampler. And anyways, I believe she has the border done, so I'm excited to see her progress this week. And definitely, if you the patterns available in my Etsy shop, and if you are on Instagram, I would just love it if you shared your progress with me and tagged me in it. Okay. The last FFO that I have is the Bluebird Quaker. And let me back up. Okay. Hold on. Let's see if this will... I was getting stuck on the rug. There we go. So it's hard to do this one. Again, this one, man, I love this. I absolutely love it was stitched on 28 count vintage country mocha, which is such a joy to stitch on. The floss I used was what was called for, and that was blackboard, and it is this beautiful blue that has a slight variegation in it, and I had the perfect spot because I don't often have, these vertical type pieces. You can see behind me, and a lot of them are always going to be, they seem to be horizontal in nature. So I had the perfect spot to hang this. I considered not putting glass on it, but because it's going to hang in the kitchen and where, my daughter does some cooking with culinary school, I felt like glass was the way to go. So let me come in close now. It's my first Quaker, and I was able to stitch on this. I did go to I did go to a Sunday also. See, it was busy, and you always forget things. I went to the Sunday stitch-in at Brick City Cross Stitch, and that is what I worked on, and I almost finished it there, but I came home that night and I finished it. I finished it at home that night, and then I think I was I was able to share it, but it immediately went to the frame where I took all 3 pieces at the same time. So I was so happy to have them all back, and I'm so happy. The Bluebird Quaker by Willow Hill Samplings was, which by the way you can get on their Etsy shop. It is a download, and mine was looking. I would have given mine away, but it was looking, because it was a PDF and printed on paper. It wasn't even on cardstock. It just went in the trash. It was looking pretty rough. So I was glad I was able to make Mom's pincushion, salvage her stitching, and have a finish of something that we started, you know, over a year ago, and get it out of my whips. So, okay, now, I'll move my haul out of the way, which there isn't that much of. But since I had a finish, I justified a new start. And that new start is with Carolina cross stitcher, Kathy. And we wanted to do our next, we seem to like to do Hands Across the Sea samplers together. And so we picked our next one, which was Mary Clayton. So we started a Sal, of course. Hold on a second here. This is Mary Clayton, if you haven't seen her. Now, she is something that was released quite a while ago. So I don't think she was in print. But when we started the Sal, Kathy and I, all of a sudden, Hands Across the Sea tagged us, and I guess there was some good requests to be in the Sal, and so they released Mary Clayton on PDF form. So that, I was so happy about that. So you can start with us. This will take Kathy and I a bit. We have a lot of other projects. So there's no rush, and I was able to take her to the retreat. This is what I chose to take to Stitching with the Flossies, because mostly the patterns inside on Hands Across the Sea patterns are just so good and so big and so clear that it just makes it very easy to work on. Now, if it were a really big, intense girl, maybe I wouldn't have. But if I just give you an example, Mary Clayton is meant for, I believe, all levels of stitching. So it's one of the first ones I got. And but if you look real quick, their patterns are so easy on the eyes. So I took this, and I was able to get some good work done on it. But if perchance you're interested, just, you know, Hands Across the Seas, PDF, and feel free to join us. Now, I am stitching on 30 count pecan shortbread that I got from Hoop and Frame well over a year ago. I wish that I had a serger. I would have serged it up, but I was able, once I got the border almost done, I was able to cut off the bulk because I had a fat half of the pecan shortbread, so I didn't need all that weight. I'm stitching with all DMC floss, and I will show you my progress. It's a little wrinkly, but so I've almost got that part of the border. Let me hold up a there we go. So it doesn't look like a whole lot of anything right now. See if I come in here. There you go. But the colors are so good. What threw me is on the side, on some of these it's a red, this beautiful red, but on the bottom it's a copper. So these are the colors, and they are beautiful. But I just was working my way up. I was keeping it very easy at Stitching with the Flossies for myself. Oopsie. So I was able to get myself some landmark stitching in up here, but I did not want to keep going on the tree because I knew there was some counting coming my way. but I was able to drop down and get Mary's name in. So I kept it easy on myself so I wouldn't get in trouble. But at the same time, I loved the fact that she's easy enough that I could work on her. So I was gifted this cute bird floss bling from Elaine. Anyways, she is a friend of mine on Instagram, and she gifted that to me, so that was so cute. Anyways, Elaine Hill. Okay, so beautiful colors. I love working with DMC. It always amazes me to some degree when you see them like this together, how different they look. They're just beautiful, and a lot of it is just, you know, as far as when you're designing or reproducing is just picking the right colors that all look so wonderful together. So anyways, again, 30 count, and I believe Kathy is either stitching on 36 or 40. But go ahead and give her a look up. She is Caroline, a cross stitcher, and you know, see her progress as well. So I don't know what we're gonna pick next, but I do know which Hands Across the Sea one I am gonna do next, and that is going to be, I'll discuss that in the future, but it'll be my Thanksgiving Day start, and I'm really excited. I've had it for a while. It is for all levels, so it's completely 2/2. I believe you can stitch it on Ada. I know you can stitch Mary Clayton on Ada. So again, join us, and we'd love to have you, and it's been a fun stitch. Okay, the next we had October 13th. And you know what that means? That means dark stitching. So on the 13th of every month, people enjoy stitching on Halloween related pieces or anything dark or spooky. And for me, it just means Halloween. So I had a couple of choices. I always have been using the 13th to stitch on Twin Peak Primitives, Haunted House Sampler Sal, and it is their haunted house design from last year, and I really would like to have it done for this year. So this was the first time on the 13th that I did not work on it. I wanted to have a new start because if you know Denise at Goose, she makes project bags. She came out with a project bag that was to die for. And so I immediately sent my all heart eyes and swooned, but this is, let me see, I gotta get out of the thing. This is the bag. And oh my. So this fabric is by Teresa Kogut, and oh my gosh. So because, and I know there's a sale coming up, I believe June 5th. So you could check into that if you were interested in, you know, a nice Halloween start. But I had two ideas. One, I did want to do a Teresa Kogut in this bag and stitch. I have never done one of her witches, and the one I picked was right here. Halloween Greetings. Again, I'm kind of a cutesy Halloween person. I can handle a little spooky, but I love this girl. She's so cute. So I picked her, and I did it as a PDF so that I could have it, but I printed this for you so you could see, and I have to get the supplies for that. But in the meantime, I also had a new Beulah design. I have a couple of them, but the one I wanted to do next is Beulah, and it's called Beulah Bakes. So I went ahead and got a very small start on Beulah Bakes. So there'll be a few differences in her, and this time she's got some purple in her socks. So I got a small start. Again, this is 32 count summer khaki. It's kind of what I've been stitching Beulah on. So, and then these are see if I can do this both ways. This is the back of the bag, which is just as phenomenal. These are my floss for Beulah. Pretty fun. And I grabbed these tags, which I thought were so cute, off Etsy. I would like to make my own. I really would. But the one that caught my eye, where did it go? I made enough extra for the, oh, here she is, this one. I thought she's so cute. I made enough extra for the Teresa Kogut pattern. So, and I think that pattern called for, Teresa's did call for primarily DMC. I think there was one dyed floss. So I'm just going to keep them together. And anyways, but these were really cute. Just these vintage Halloween tags. Hi, sweetie. Hi. And there you go. So I picked up these. And that's that. You have to work?
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't be losing any more weight if she keeps cooking the way that she cooks. She made us, what was the noodle meal?
Cacio pepe.
See, I can't even say that. But she did make homemade tomato soup, and that was awesome. So I can say that one. Okay, so that was Beulah Bakes, and that was my October 13, my May 13th stitching. Okay, then I'll grab this one. Fat Quarter Shop is doing their mystery stitch along, and that is their summer home sale, and I am a part of that, and I was able to get the first part caught up and finished. So I am here. It's got great colors. So I need to come in here and the word home goes in here. And they are on part 3. So I'm starting part 2. I'm not too far off, but they reveal their next piece of the mystery every week on, I believe, Thursday. And the hashtag is Summer Home Sale. So I'm excited to get down to part 3 because I've already seen it when they released it this week, and it's so cute. Now, I decided I was just going to use this adorable box that they provided and have. I just have a hard time opening it, always. But I'm just right now, I'm using the classic color works that they provided, and I'm just laying them in this box right now. So it doesn't look super pretty, but it's actually kind of nice. It fits them really nice, and they gave us these little floss bitties, but I think I'm gonna save them for, I believe like a Lori Holt stitch, because I have a lot of DMC of Lori Holt's, and I thought I could switch them over. So these are really cute, and they come with 3 different kinds inside, so I really like them, but I think I'm going to be finished with this one so quickly that I kind of wanted to save the floss bitties for a bigger piece. So anyways, that is Summer Home Sale, and I'm stitching it on, it's like a barnwood, but they sent it in its 28 count even weave, and it's been very nice. It's by Fabric Flare. So that is, I at least was happy to have my start and completion of part 1. And then I will save the next week. It'll be pretty easy, is I can just stitch it when I'm with Philip or something. It's very easy stitching. Part 3 looks like it gets into a little more detail, so we'll see. But hopefully my plan this week is to do part 2, possibly catch up with part 3, but we will see. I did some really nice model stitching. I'm so excited about this piece. It absolutely speaks to my heart so much for the Twin Peak Primitives, and I love the fact that right now unless it's over, but they were in Italy for a needleworkers or needle art show. Obviously, it's just done in this beautiful place, and they shared pictures with them and Putini, and it's fun to see them all get together. So anyways, I've enjoyed watching their trip over there, and I'm loving stitching on the piece that I have right now. I'm anxious for you to be able to see it. Okay, the last piece I stitched on, and I could have pushed for a finish, but I also just am enjoying myself. And this is my piece that I designed, and I've shared a couple of times, Santa and Mrs. Claus, but I believe I will have a finish, and at least by Tuesday or Wednesday. It depends on what I stitch on today. Today I have my friend Hope, or Sarah. Geez, I can't believe I said Hope. Hope, Sarah, and myself are all doing the para stitch. Sarah, my high school friend, is coming up today, and we are going to stitch together. And she's bringing her third of the piece that we are going to stitch to give to our former French teacher. We all went to Paris together, so we decided that we would all stitch 1/3 of this piece and then stitch it for ourselves and then gift it to Mrs. Aaron, our French teacher. So Sarah has finished. She's bringing it up today. We're going to take advantage and do some stitching. Randy and Philip are going to bring us lunch. So anyways, it's going to be a good day, and I'll have to decide what I want to stitch on. But I did want to share that here's the next little tidbit of that piece. So I just had so much fun on this one. I really, really did. Not sure if, there you go. Maybe that's better. But Santa and Mrs. Claus are finished, and I'd love to hold off for you to see the whole thing in a reveal. So next Flosstube, I should be able to completely share that it's finished, and that it'd be in my shop. And it's just this one. The things I find that I love to design are something of my childhood. That's what seems to kind of flow out of me when I'm doing the designing, is I find something that I was in love with as a kid, and then I'm able to create from there. And that just seems to be how it works. It's kind of like how Beulah is. They are something that I visioned as a kid, and a witch was kind of a predominant thing as a kid because I was petrified of them. And my grandmother used to call me up, and she would play a witch, and I would drop the phone because, of course, those were when phones were on the wall. And it's something I remember. And so to make, I knew it was my grandmother, and I always knew, after that. And then if she didn't do it, I was upset. But, it was just one of those things that, to me, a cute witch is the way to go. So I've had a lot of fun with Beulah. I'm down to haul. So we literally, I didn't get that much. I have been really focusing on things that I could use at StitchCon since I've never been, and I've never really been to much more of a retreat besides one day. So I found this on Etsy because I wanted to have a little mat in front of me, like a stitcher's mat. And I didn't want it to be too big. I didn't want it to be horizontal. I wanted it to be more square. So I looked at a lot of things that were table toppers and things of that sort. But what I ended up finding that I wanted to try, and what I ended up purchasing off Etsy was this, and it's a sewing machine mat. So my retreat bag is black, and I thought this was basically something I could use all the time in my home, not just at retreats, and I have used it every night since. I lay it right over my TV tray. My phone slides in here. The TV remote fits in one if I need to, but it keeps things in their place. The scissors fit in here nicely. So what normally would happen is this would be where your sewing machine is, and then this folds down and it flaps over the table or your sewing machine table. Okay, but for me, it might take up the whole screen, but it's actually not terribly big. And I tried it at Stitching with the Flossies, and it was, thank goodness I had it, because all I had to do was take it, fold it up, walk over to the next table. All my stuff was there. I didn't have to put it in a bag, and then just lay it down. So this I just thought was so cute. She obviously has an embroidery machine of some sort. I will link the Etsy shop below because she has several of these. Now she also has sets with this and then the machine cover. And I have a Bernina. I just don't really have the greatest place to set up. And I tried it on the porch and I still didn't use it that way. So maybe one day when I have an actual sewing room back, I will have my quilting station put back together, but I will probably go ahead and order the cover maybe after StitchCon or something like that. But this works, to me, this works really, really good, and it's completely my style. So, you know, when I'm with my retreat bag, I've got Matilda the mouse, I've got this, and I feel pretty good. The only thing I was missing that became the other piece of haul was I wanted something to put my orts in. So I picked up this, and again, it was off Etsy and handmade. I like to support that when I can. And it is just a fabric bowl. So I liked that I had my blacks and my reds, my two favorite colors. The only thing is it's a little bigger than I thought it was. So yay me, but I wish now, I was worried if I got the smaller one that it would be too small. So I may use this at home because obviously I do a lot of stitching at home. And then I might eventually buy the smaller ones because she did have a couple of sizes. But I will say that it was really well made and very affordable. I'm trying to get the best lighting. There you go. So if I take this one, great. If I can get the smaller one beforehand, I probably would do so because I don't, you know, need something that big. But I absolutely think the quality of both of these pieces, this is quilted so nice. I would absolutely shop from them again. So this one, I do have the receipt right here. I can give you the name. And if you do search them on Etsy, they're just called a fabric bowl. But they're by Cedar Point Designs, C-E-D-A-R Point Designs. So anyways, if you're, I kept the bill in there for you since I didn't quite need it yet. And then the last thing I got, I think, was just, I fell in love with some fabric, and I have some ideas in my mind for some fall pieces and winter. So I grabbed this fabric so that I could use that for backing. And this was just Hobby Lobby. And then I found this one, and I had to have that. Because, you know, mice and all that stuff. So it's really cute. These right here, hold on, the two of them working together. There. So, I did half yards of each. You know, I don't need a lot until I do get my sewing area back up there. And then I did gift for everybody at the retreat. I think one person didn't show. There were 30 guests at the Stitching with the Flossies, and I wanted to make something as a thank you. So I made these for all the guests at the Stitching with the Flossies. So it's just this miniature tomato pincushion and the miniature floss spool and these little pins. So there was one left over, and what I'd like to do is I might try to take the pins out and antique this. I would love it to look a little bit older, but anyways, all it is they sell these as a set of 12 or 15 at Joann's. They are miniature tomato pin cushions. They sell these spools in the wood aisle, and you get 40. And then I used Old English stain, and I just put it on a rag and I just rolled them in it. and then I let them dry overnight. You probably didn't need to, but I did. And then I used Aleene's glue, and I used not really scraps, but I just used like the spare DMC that I thought would be okay with the red. Obviously, I wasn't going to put a red with the red. I wanted something that was sharp. So I used white, and I used this kind of cute aqua, and I used gold, and I used lighter greens. And I glued it to start, and I glued it to end it, the piece. And if you just use your finger, and then I kept myself like Vanna, I kept myself a little wet rag next to me so that once I finished smoothing it where I glued it down, I could just clean my fingers off. And then these, I got the idea for these small pins from Saltbox Stitcher, Carol, who was using them in one of the Brenda Gervais small tomatoes stitches that she made. And she didn't want to do the French knots or something. I can't remember what it was, but she literally used these, which are short pins, and they have the white head on them. So they made it very easy for me to put them in there, and that's it. So it was fun. And there was one left over, so we'll see if I make some again. But she looks really cute with my little mouse, my little sewing mouse that I had made. I think it was about 1.5 years ago. My little Stitchy, I can get her down. She's right here. Hold on a second. There. I had this made after my mom passed. So she's really cute, and this all comes off. She's probably a little dusty. She sits with my featherweight. But I thought this was a good size for her. She came with a tomato pin cushion, but it's quite large, and I thought this was kind of cute. So they sit together now. They're a team. Okay. I believe we are at 51 minutes, and I want to say that I've covered, oh, I know, one last haul, eBay. Okay, so I have been, let's talk about Stitchy Linda and myself for a minute. Okay, we're going to StitchCon together, and everybody knows we're driving together. So we definitely will, so many of you have talked about her doing more Flosstubes with me. I've asked her, you've asked her. I don't think Flosstube is something, I got wild hair now. I don't think Flosstube is something she's going to do on her own, and I explained some of those feelings that she had with my owl forest embroidery situation, and I can't thank you enough for the support that you gave me. And I don't have to go any further with that, but I thank you, and all of you know who you are, and I really appreciate all the messages. They are all really so very special and thoughtful. So we were, those kind of things make it kind of scary for people to want to jump into the Flosstube bandwagon. So anyways, but it's all good because Linda and I are going to practice making sure that her setup and my setup, and we're going to try doing some Zoom so that she doesn't have to drive an hour down and an hour back and uproot all her project bags and things like that. So we decided that maybe once a month I could do like a special edition Flosstube or a special segment type thing. And once a month we will do a Flosstube together, and we will do it via Zoom with the split screen. And I think that would be great. I'm excited about that. So we'll start that. I believe our idea would be either to start it after StitchCon, but we're going to try and video and do Instagram stories of our journey to StitchCon, at StitchCon, and home from StitchCon with our StitchCon stash. So, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what we're going to look like, but I can tell you that we're going to have a good time. I'm trying to get prepared. We're working on our secret gifts. That is on my plans for this week. If you asked me what my plans were, well, it's going to be model stitching. My Mania Stitching has produced two finishes. I got my sampler done. I got the Bluebird Quaker done. Now I would pick up, and I stitched monogamously except for on the 13th on my Twin Peaks model. So that was week 2 of my mania, which was basically a whip mania. And I believe Lovin' Stitchin' is doing that as well. They're calling it a whip, I believe a whip mania. And that works out great because I got a finish out of that. And now I did monogamous stitching last week on, with the exception of, you know, the start and stitching with the flossies, but I was able to get a good chunk on my model stitch for the twins, and that made me feel good. So going into week 3, I believe that I will probably go to the Blackbird A Mother's Honor Do, and I have some secret stitching I need to do for gifts up at StitchCon, and I need to get working on those. And then I will finish my Santa stitch for my shop. That would give me, you know, 2 finishes kind of, and then I will obviously always work on the model stitch, but then I will work on at night monogamously stitching the A Mother's Honor Do by Blackbird Designs, and then that would get me 2 older whips or 2 whips that I would be so happy, you know, all done during mania. That leads me back to where I was at with this, and basically when Linda and I have been together the last couple of times, and she's had years of collecting, I know she has this one Charles Wysocki piece, and we always seem to put off the ones that we're mostly like inspired by. I do it myself. I totally do it myself. I want to do the Sampler Company. I want to do Brenda Keyes. They just take my breath away. I have 5 of them, and I just need to make sure that in 2023 that it's a reality for me. So I was talking to Linda about your once in a lifetime. What would it be? Your once in a lifetime stitch that you keep putting off, that you just know is there, and you just need to do it. Because what if you don't? So I was saying I wanted to do that in 2023. Started in January. January 1st, it's your New Year's Day start. You just do it. And it doesn't matter the size of it. It doesn't matter. It's just a personal thing to you. And hers would be her Charles Wysocki, which she has kitted up. So I'll have her share that with you. And I thought, well, maybe to help her, because that's what friends do, I could do a Charles Wysocki, and I could look up the things I like. Well, kind of the problem is the one that she has, I also love, but it's also incredibly pricey and hard to find. And I can't think of the name of it now. It's something Cove. But I did find this one that I liked, which is called My Hometown. Found it on eBay, and the pattern's pretty legible. It's kind of cool. So there's Fox Hill Farm, and this is what I picked up, and this is the last piece of my haul. So this is something that I thought, well, if it would help her to get started, and also I love it, you know, I would absolutely enjoy stitching this with her and do a Charles Wysocki. So this is book 1. I've seen book 2. I've been looking for kits. They can be quite pricey. So there's 2 that comes with this, and it's Fox Hill Farm and Village Shopping. And I would start with Fox Hill Farm. So I would start with this one right there. So it's a little bit like how Vanna is doing some of, I think she's working on, was going to pick Blueberry Hill or Raspberry Hill. She's got her own kind of like this, where it's kind of like, why am I not stitching on these? I love them so much. Vintage or not, love them so much. So this is going to be, unless I find another one in kit form, or like the one that she has, I think it's called Cozy Cove. But I'll get the name for you. But anyways, this is, I think, going to be our January 1st start, something like that. And if mine isn't this, and I do this anyways with her, I will have my once in a lifetime stitch ready to go. But regardless, I'm going to stitch this with her, and that will hopefully help her stay motivated to stitch on her dream piece and bring that to a reality this year in 2023. So it's kind of nice that I know myself enough that these whips are going to roll right into, many of them will roll right into 2023. We are middle of May. Next weekend is my granddaughter Aria's 4th birthday. It's going to be at our house. After that, it's StitchCon. After that, it's Philip's birthday, Father's Day, and then you turn around, it's going to be June. And I mean, I have Colleen of Stitching with the Sisterlies is doing a model stitch for me again. She's at a retreat right now in Amana, and oh man, that just looks so good. I'm so happy for that she's there, but she has a little bit of a historic, patriotic type piece. It's more historic, I should say, but she's going to do a model stitch for me. And of course, her sister Cheryl, who had some medical issues. I'm so glad to see she's doing well. I'm absolutely so happy to see that she's relaxing at home as she should be. And, you know, she still has my prayers, you know, covering her right now, because we want her 100% back to herself, and actually even better than that. So I think that is where I can end this piece, or this Flosstube. I want to hold all my giveaway stuff for the 7,000K giveaway. As soon as that happens, I will just show you everything that I have put in there. Of course, I'll include some of my own patterns. So I thought for the giveaway this week, I thought that I would just allow you to pick what you would like from my shop. You can pick 2 patterns from my shop, and if you have an email, great. If you don't, I will mail them to you. That must be my word this week. Makes me crazy. I love that when I see somebody that is so fluent and so good at speaking. James was like that, the PH Stitcher. Love and Stitchin' does a beautiful job at not saying I just wanted to say it again. That's why I caught myself. Either way, I'm so happy that we got to get together, and I am going to go have fun stitching with my friend Sarah. I will share with you the piece on Instagram, as well as on my next week's Flosstube. I get to do my 3rd. I think that's it. I wish you a wonderful week of stitching. There are certain people right now that know they have my prayers, so I want to make sure that they know those are coming. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm so excited for the week to come, because I know that my Santa and Mrs. Claus is going to be finished, and I love it. It's at the core of everything as a child for me. So stitching on it is not like I'm stitching on one of my own models. I absolutely, it just makes me smile so much. So I'm so excited to be able to bring that to you in the next week. And of course, if it is put into my shop, what I've been doing is, if I release something earlier, I go ahead and I put a post on YouTube, and some people catch it and some people don't, but at least it's keeping you informed. And if not, I will see you next Sunday. I wish you nothing but a great week, a healthy week, a happy week, and I will see you then. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to floss, everybody. Bye.